What's up guys, this is Coach Aleyzr here, and today we are going to talk about how to play door on Nuke. So the first thing you have to understand as a door player is that you have two main roles. The first role is kind of an A side defender. You're helping to defend the A side. And the second role is kind of a rotator, where you rotate down to defend the B side, or you just kind of help your teammates to fight outside. First of all, let me quickly explain the positions on Nuke, because on Puck so many people get this wrong. There is no main player, yeah. On Nuke you have outside player, door player, hut player, ramp player, and rotation guy. The door player can sometimes start mini, and also the outside player can start mini, but there is no such thing as a mini player. Now let's talk about some basic communication that is pretty important for this role to understand. As a door player, you can hear a lot and help your teammate to understand like what is going on. You can get a lot of info about like people jumping on top of silo. You can hear like T-roof stuff where people might be like jumping up on this thing. And you can hear if people are like a lot in lobby. If you, for example, hear a lot of stuff on silo and outside, it might be a good idea to ask your teammate on A and the ramp player to search for lobby guys, because you know that they're heavily playing outside, and this means that the lobby player is pretty much alone, or maybe just two players, and then it might be a good time for you to initiate some aggression towards lobby. If you hear a lot of stuff on T-roof happening, this might be a sign that maybe there's an early execute towards the A side coming. And then if you have like two outside players, like basically one outside player and your rotation guy is also a little bit outside, it might be a good time to tell them, hey guys, a lot of stuff happening on T-roof, maybe shift a little bit towards A, maybe A execute is coming. So information wise, as a door player, you're one of the crucial parts inside of the round to understand what is going on and share all of the information that you gain to help your teammates also understand what the fuck is going on. Now let's come back towards your two roles. The first role was the A side defender. And the first thing you have to think about, especially when you're learning a new position, is what are the T's usually going to do on the position that you're playing? Like what are people playing against you and how you can counter that? As a door player, there are a few common scenarios that will most likely happen in every single game. The first is that they might rush door pretty fast with or without instant lurk smokes from spawn. They can try to lurk out on a timing. They can be like early A executes from T-roof. And there can be like very slow rounds where main at some point becomes a threat, because you have players that are like falling back outside and main is not covered anymore. So in pretty much like every single round, when you come up heaven, you should do a molly like this that lands inside of the door. Obviously this door needs to be broken for that. If it's not broken, then it's not that big of a deal, it just lands in front of it. The way how you do it is you come back up the ladder, strafe towards the right, and then you just look at this thick notch here, yeah. So you just come up here, yeah, and then you simply throw it like this, and then it lands inside of the door. And then you have two basic options. The first one is you do the molly, and then you can do a flash like so, and then you can peek, or you can do the flash also like this, yeah, and then you peek. One thing that's really important is if you're coming down here, after you release the flash, you want to turn, because if people are actually rushing, they will most likely flash into main, and we don't want to be like running down here directly looking into those flashes. So once we come down, flash, turn, and then we go. Now sometimes T's like to use a lurk smoke that lands inside of this area here in front of the door. And there are two basic variations of it. The first ones are the normal ones from like here or here that doesn't open like instantaneously. You have a little bit of time when you come here and then they're open. Or they're using these type of smokes that kind of instantly land when you come down here, yeah. If they're using these type of instant smokes, you have to swap your flash probably for an HE, where you just break it like so. Yeah, and then you check if somebody's like going down vent. Again, you can also do the nade against the wall like this, yeah, also fine. And it's basically designed to make sure that no one is like fast crossing towards vent here, yeah. Now, if you have done that and nobody's down, you can just move up here, yeah, and check Obviously, sometimes there will be situations where there's top hot molly and then you have to just check if this is burning or not. Yeah, just make sure when you're jumping up that you're actually like jumping on the right side, so you now can peek and you don't like jump up here and somebody might be already holding you. And then the first response for you, if you have checked that no one is going down, is to smoke door. Yeah, if you don't have vision because they use the smoke like this, then you can just underhand it into here, something like this. Yeah, and then you just try to go here into this corner close to the door, and then you control the door side. Or if they never do like top hut molly and you just start by going on top of hut, you just go here, yeah, you check it, and then you can just basically do the same and smoke door from here. Now we made sure that they're not rushing door and we have this under control. Now what are the next things that can happen to us? The next thing that can happen to you are A side executes, and usually they happen like pretty early into the round, which means that the T's will probably do some kind of outside pressure with either 1, 2, 3 smokes or 1, 2 and on top of main, like deny some information on outside, and then the A side hit is coming. Now let's quickly think about how most of these A executes probably are going to look like. Usually people are going to do top hot molly in the beginning, and then the execute is like kind of coming when the Molotov is burning, so they know that nobody can be on top hot. Then they will have people that smoke main, maybe flash close door and even deep main, so you will have flashes here, and then usually they have a side molly and flashes that go through the window here and they explode kind of in this area here. This is typically how a little bit more advanced A executes look like. Yeah, against these type of execute, for you as a door player, there are probably 2 positions that you mostly want to play. The first one is closed door here. Yeah, so we've made sure that we block them. Let's say they use lurk smoke as well. This smoke is not there yet. Yeah, we immediately, as I said, we start to smoke here and we start to get into this corner here, and then we have a pretty good counter to any A execute, because even if we're getting blind here, obviously we should try to dodge these nades. If we hear like people on T-roof, we expect the A execute and we want to dodge this flash because most of the time it's coming. Yeah, we dodge this and then we can lurk between the smokes. Yeah, there will be this lurk smoke still up, then main smoke is coming, and we basically just stand between the smokes and try to instantly go behind these guys that are pushing out here. The second counter is basically to play in this area here, because these flashes through the roof are like exploding behind the silo here, so they won't get you blind. Yeah, the only flashes that you have to dodge are these 2 here. So sometimes, or usually, let's say, usually these 2 flashes get thrown by the same guy. Yeah, usually it's like this, where somebody's like flashing like this. And this means that the timing between those flashes will always be the same. Yeah, it will always be boom, boom. Yeah, like you have always the exact same time between the flashes usually, if this is just thrown by one guy. And this means that if they're doing these type of A execute, you can play on this wall. You try to, like, you're expecting the A execute, you hear the molly coming, yeah, you turn and you dodge the first flash, and then you immediately kind of swing and spam this here. Yeah, and then usually you will get pretty easy kills because you will fight them or start shooting before you are getting blind from this flash, and you will probably, if they're coming outdoor, just get a pretty easy double kill here. Obviously, this type of playing needs a little bit of practice. Yeah, you need to understand when to turn, when not to turn, and sometimes it's a little bit obviously luck involved. Yeah, but in general, I think these are the 2 positions that are good for you. Because CT vents, I forgot about that, but CT vents is usually getting mollied as well. Yeah, so we have like smoke, flash, flash, and CT vents molly. So on lower level, this might be a valid position, but as soon as you start playing against teams on like a little bit of a higher level, people will always going to molly CT vents. So yeah, there's just no way you can play this position. Yeah, so you kind of have to decide to play close to shut it down, or to try to play on dodging flash timings and then shutting them down once they try to go outdoor. The last thing that you have to kind of understand as an A side defender is like very slow rounds where at some point maybe main becomes an issue. And this is probably going to happen more in like your puck games where people are going outside, they do some stuff, they take their time, they're looking for duels, nothing really happening. And then at some point, maybe your outside players get pushed back. Yeah, so this means when they're like playing back here or around here, sometimes they lose control. Yeah, they lose control of main. Yeah, and you have to give it up. So if you have smoke door early and now we're getting into territory where the smoke is starting to fade, yeah, and you can't re-smoke, obviously it would be good if your A player knows, for example, this smoke here, yeah, how to basically re-smoke door for you. It's just in the middle here and then between the hook and this thing, just like so. If he knows that, that would be perfect. If not, then you're kind of forced to choose between playing inside main, CT vent, or you can play on Tetris, or you can get even aggressive into hut. I think getting aggressive into hut is pretty good if your teammates are not like close main and they can't help you, because CT vents a lot of time gets mollied. Here it's like pretty much one and done, and you're kind of relying on your teammate to play it smart, because if he dies here then you're like totally fucked. So I think if you lose control here and you see that your teammates are not covering main, it's a good idea to maybe just leave main. Yeah, leave door. Just tell your teammates, yeah, door is open, and you move inside hut and you let your A player stay on A side. Now he's free to fight against main. You have hut for him, and if anything is coming, you can still just come out here and help him to fight anyone that's like coming from main into the A side. Now let's talk about the second role that the door player has, which is basically a rotation player. There are two rotations. First one is like basically going down to help defend the B bomb side, and the second one is helping outside. So basic scenario, we make sure that no one is going down vents. Yeah, we have re-smoked door or smoked it initially, and now our teammates are like calling a lot of stuff on outside. We hear players on silo, maybe even dropping on main. Then it might be a good idea if we have like two players outside, maybe one outside here, maybe the rotation guy is playing a little bit here with AWP. Then it might be a good idea to just come main, yeah, and help to fight outside together with them. If there are no smokes already, it might be a good idea to just play here. If somebody's like peeking, you can quickly react, or you can just play a little bit inside of main and just wait for something to happen, and then you just react on it. One thing you have to be extremely cautious about is where are your teammates playing from. I will give you an example. So let's say they do these type of smokes here, yeah, and you're here, yeah, you're playing inside main. You have to always understand if there's someone that can hold the main drop for you now, yeah, because let's say your outside player is maybe playing here, yeah, maybe playing here, and your AWP is also like playing heaven. This means that there's no one that can cover this drop here, yeah, from main. So it's like pretty dangerous for you to play in this area. It kind of depends on your level. I think on lower level it's not that dangerous, because people are most likely not going to like flash for the guy who's like dropping down here, or he's like not flashing for himself. But once you reach higher level, people will start to understand how to kill you here. They will have flashes, and then it's a pretty terrible spot for you to be in if there's nobody that can help you defend the main drop. So if you're ever in main and you see these normal outside smokes and nobody can help you defend the main drop, you need to be very careful, and usually your best option then is to get back into the A side. Yeah, maybe go up top hut again, or even move back towards hut again, as I said earlier. Now the second rotation part, and the most common one, is that you start off by blocking door. Now your teammates are losing outside info, and now you're forced to go down. Obviously we want to do that as silently as we can, so not making any noise. And then we have some options on how we can play it. If you still have some util left, you can play to jiggle here with molly or smoke. But probably in pucks this will never happen, because there will nobody smoking door for you, like not your side player, not your heaven player. So usually that means that you don't have that much util left, usually just a flash or an HE. And then you have basically two options that you can use on both sides. you can either play for the jump spot and the information, or you can play for like timing peaks, yeah, where you just hide and then you peek up on the timing and you try to find if somebody's like sneaking up on you. I personally think that double doors is the stronger position to rotate in. The reason why I think this way is if you're here and you spot them, they're like already pretty close to the side and there's only like one thing that you can do, and it's like basically coming here, quickly closing the door again, and then taking a fight from here. If they play really fast here, if they see you and they react kind of fast, it's like a pretty much one and done kind of position, because you will probably just get the first one and then get immediately traded. I personally think it's better to go towards the double side here, because you simply have more options to play with. Again, we can play for the timing peaks, or we can play for the jump spot. If we have still HE left, obviously we can, like if we are doing the jump spot, we can use our nade simply like this. Yeah, that could be really good. And then afterwards we have some options. The first thing that I would tell you to do is keep the doors open, because if Ts are coming here, even if they see you jump spot, they don't know if you quickly like ran back to the other side. Yeah, you can spot them and then you can like quickly go towards here, and they don't know if you're left side or right side. And if the door is open, they have to worry about all of these angles, which will probably just, even if it just confuses them a little bit, it will give you an advantage by like screwing up their crosshair placement a little bit, which is already like a pretty good advantage for you. So I would say never close these doors if you spot someone, and then you can go like on side here. This is a pretty good position to be in. Yeah, you just come up here, and once they come out door, I just put this bot here for reference. So you just aim kind of in the middle of this red here, and then you just try to kill them once they rush out. And if you hear them moving towards glasses, you can just go a little bit more into the corner and just hold an angle like so. If you're moving towards the left side, you can also play a lot of off angles from here. These are pretty good if you have not so good of a weapon like MP9, for example, or you can move back up here. And one thing that some people don't know is that if I put a bot here, you can see his shadow on the ground. So this is a pretty strong angle that you have. You just aim a little bit above this part here on the wall. Yeah, electric part. So then it's basically like body shot. And if he's closer, then it's like headshot. Yeah, it's like pretty good height to aim at. And then you will see the shadow and you have a pretty free kill against the first guy. One thing to keep in mind is to be aware of if you have a teammate that can quickly rotate from ramp. If you do so, I think it's best to go on side, because there are like a lot of good crossfires that you can build with this ramp guy. I don't think it's that good for you to go like all in here, because you can get traded. Maybe you even instantly die, and there's nothing that this guy can do about it. But if you're just coming outdoor and you take a position like here or here, sorry, then it's much more easy for him to like build very strong crossfires with you. Yeah, so if you have somebody that can rotate pretty fast, I would recommend to go here. One more thing that's really important for you to understand is that there will be some situations where you are unsure of someone being down vent. This could be a situation where maybe you got blocked a little bit in spawn, or you didn't have a really good spawn, so you arrive a little bit later here. And even if you go for like the smoke break, maybe they were flashing and you got caught by a flash, so you were blinded, you had to hide, and now you're not sure if they have somebody going down vent or not. If you're in this situation, it's usually too risky for you to check, yeah, and go down vents, because there could be already like one guy in vents holding you. And this means that you have to tell your ramp player to rotate down. This usually means if it's like a vent possibility that they're like going down vent, that he has to like go towards the right side usually, because people usually when they go fast down, they always go single, yeah, and they go here. And then you can either as a ramp player hold this, or you try to get into a better position if the guy decides to play it a little bit slow, yeah, and you try to move up here, then you're like in a pretty good position. But general rule for you as a door player, if you're here and you're not sure about somebody going down, or you know that somebody's going down, you have to tell your ramp player to rotate down, and then the rotator has to take over ramp, and the outside player sometimes either he plays like in garage and takes main for you, so you can focus on door and hut, or he shifts a little bit back towards heaven, so he can a little bit rotate between like outside, helping A, and maybe even helping ramp. Now let's quickly talk about some small plays that you can do. If you know that the T's like to break the door and you have a good spawn, you can do a pretty deep molly like so. Obviously you need to be aware of like this position here. Best case scenario would be that your heaven player does the inside door molly for you, and then you just do a pretty deep door molly. So if T's like to send somebody like into this corner, you can immediately fight him here, yeah. And if nothing is happening, you can even, like, if the molly is down, you can even just smoke on top of it, and you have like pretty aggressive door control that you can try to abuse if you want to. This is like obviously a pretty puggy move, but it might be a good move if you know that somebody likes to play in this corner here pretty early into the round. Another small opening that you can do with your HUD player is something like this, yeah, where you drop down, and the way how you should do it is you jump up here, you do the normal door molly, and then you do nade and you wait one short moment, yeah, before you drop down. So it should look something like this. And then you can instantly push down and try to catch anyone that's like lurking in lobby. Last thing I want to talk about is if you're going down here and nothing is really happening, or you're like rotating extremely early into a round against teams that like to play outside but like to play it slow, it might be a good idea to just come down here, yeah, and then you just sneak here, and then you're just waiting to catch some timings, and you try to play on a position like here, which is pretty tough for the T's to deal with, because every time they go here, they have to go forward, yeah. Obviously there will be smokes here, but they have to run forward, yeah, and then it's pretty hard for them to kill you. So this is like a pretty good position to be in. If you want to go aggressive here, make sure that you do it in like these 2 steps, where you first go towards the left side and you try to figure out if somebody is on silo, yeah. And if you don't see anyone, you go back towards the right side and then pop up here, yeah, because then the risk of like somebody standing here on this pretty common angle is like lower, yeah, dying to him because he can't see you if you're in this position here. So yeah, I think that's mostly everything you have to know for playing door on Nuke. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. If you're interested in coaching, feel free to join my Discord. And if you have any other topics you want me to talk about, just leave a comment down below. Until then, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a nice day. Bye bye.